Good afternoon, everyone. We are Ink, and today Malcolm, Nadia, Shay, and Shane, and me we will present our Take Age UK Next campaign. And Ink team. Our Ink is an independent advertising network. Our industry-leading efficiency is the result of our expertise in several key areas like brand digital, PR, and social media. And why Ink? Because we believe every great idea starts with a scribble or a doodle. This is our member.
Hello guys, in case you wondering, next slide.
And this is the table of our campaign. Okay, next.
Okay. So this is the brief that we received from Age UK. You're specifically, each of your objectives specified the 25 to 44 age group. That means raising awareness regarding the issue of elderly loneliness, raising awareness about Age UK's volunteering opportunities and encouraging participation, increase Age UK's current volunteer member by 10% and raise monetary donations. So we approached the pitch by doing a in-depth situational analysis. And one of the most important trends that we identified is that the UK is experiencing a huge demographic shift. That means, and it has a twofold impact on both of your objectives, that is impact on donations and impact on volunteering. So the implication being that with the Dorothy donors being phased out, these will be replaced by your 25 to 44 demographic. So the charity might have to shift focus on younger generations for donations. And the impact on volunteering, because now the charity sector has to sort of realign their programs to suit the makeup and motivations of a younger volunteer base. For example, coffee mornings may no longer be relevant because it does not resonate with the target audience. So therefore, the key opportunity is opportunity to adjust volunteering programs in terms of diversifying the ways in which people give their time, so that people don't have to sign up to a formal program with strict time commitments, and especially with this particular demographic, the 25 to 44s being, they are time poor, which will expand later. So we did a competitive analysis. We used two broad categories. We used two criteria. Excuse me. One was the broad volunteering opportunities, and the other was the innovative image against the traditional image. And we found that Age UK offered a wide variety of avenues for a volunteer to give his time. That means a lot of skills were accommodated, a lot of talents were accommodated, and a lot of availability. And then we did a little bit of analysis on how each of your competitors were trying to attract their volunteers, and we found that Royal Volunteer Services, for example, try to attract volunteers by putting out the message that you can learn from the elderly. Whereas Contact the Elderly seek to gain personal fulfillment. Whereas Age UK, and we believe this is the biggest competitive advantage that Age UK has, Age UK sort of ask their volunteers to volunteer any way you like. That means they did not impose any restrictions on their time or their talents. That means everybody was welcome. That means the volunteer base is expanded. So because your objectives were so much about the target group, we decided to do further analysis. And these are the key insights we came up with. In terms of volunteering, the 25 to 34 demographic witnessed the lowest rates of regular volunteering, only 21%. Whereas the 34 to 44 witnessed stable rates. But the common denominator is that both groups experienced lowest volunteering rates when compared to the rest of the demographic groups. And whereas donating is concerned, it's monthly, from time to time, donating rates are fairly high among 25 to 44s. But the bulk of the donations made by 25 to 44s go towards children and young people's causes. So we identified that the greatest barrier to volunteering among 25 to 44 is that they don't have the time. Work takes up most of their time, and family commitments is the second factor. So what is the solution? We decided we'll pursue a employee-supported volunteering strategy. Why? Because majority of the target group, that is the 25 to 45, are employees, and they spend the bulk of their time at office. Research suggests that the volunteering participation rate, both for regular as well as irregular for company-sponsored charities, are 99% among employees. That means most employees would support charities that their companies endorse. Moreover, companies are willing to integrate volunteering programs into their business as it fosters employee engagement. So based on their target profile, we thought it was too broad, so we decided to split them up because really their motivations were different. So this is the target consumer profile that we developed. The first one is the 25 to 34, and we are going to concentrate on people who are employed in wholesale and retail. Why? Because they have the highest concentration, this industry has the highest concentration of 25 to 34-year-olds. Now, who are these people? They're avid social media users. They're more attuned to the practice of online sharing rather than giving. So when they commit a charitable act, they would like to share that act online. They're receptive to brand content, which is a great plus. That means they are willing to engage with informal brand stories. They're receptive to brand relationships that operate on a 24/7 basis. That means we can target them through social media. And they're interested in finding new ways to engage with technology. Moreover, they lead a lifestyle that faces increasing pressure on time due to work commitment and socializing. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, we have the 35 and the 44-year-old. We are going to target the education, health, and social activities. The rationale being, again, that 35 and 40-year-olds have a higher concentration in this particular industry. Now, who are these people? They're highly educated, and they're inclined towards philanthropy due to their high civic sense. They're inclined towards contributing to society by volunteering. They are active on social media and participate in the online sharing culture. Moreover, they access internet on the go. That means we have more opportunity to reach them. And they lead a lifestyle, again, that faces increasing pressures on time due to family commitments. While the pressure put on their time are totally different, the common denominator is that both these demographics are time poor. And therefore, as a result of our situational analysis and as a result of our competitive analysis, we developed this positioning statement for Age UK in terms of in your volunteering objective. So for the time constrained 25 to 40 years old who want volunteering opportunities to complement their demanding lifestyles, Age UK is a charity that offers flexible volunteering opportunity. Unlike its competitors, its volunteering program accommodates broad range of interests, skills, and availability. And therein lies your competitive advantage.
Here's our objectives. For our business goals, we are going to increase engagement from 25 to 44 age group with Age UK and expanding our volunteer base and increase their income from donations. And for our marketing objective, we are going to increase the penetration in the term of consumer working in the wholesale, retail, and education, health, and social activities industry in the UK. And for our MMC objectives, first, we are going to increase the awareness of 25 to 44 age group, which the issue of elderly loneliness, and then to increase the awareness in this group of volunteering events and opportunities which provided by Age UK. And thirdly, to encourage those people to take part in our activities. And this is our MMC overview. Our communications message would be make a difference your way, and we're going to target 24 to 44, both male and female. We're going to use advertising, PR, social media, and direct marketing to increase the awareness, building image, and tend to change the attitude action of our target group.
So the creative insight that we use to work, childcare, socializing, going to the gym, hobbies, me time are all encroaching on people's time, making them feel increasingly time poor and unable to make long-term volunteer commitments. And the implication of this insight is that the fluid approach of volunteering, the ability to be able to help out by offering your service as a volunteer, and when it suits you with no regular pattern of commitment or a minimum stipulated number of hours. So it will primarily be driven by OOH and underpinned by social media. And we begin by showing you our print ad, which is the newspaper and magazine ads. Why? It's because we want to increase the numbers of volunteers through awareness of flexible volunteering, to solidify HUK's association with loneliness, encourage and facilitate volunteers to participate by providing appropriate call to action and QR code, mainly through Metro and trade magazines such as The Grocer. So I'll pass on to Nadia.
Yeah. So this is basically the theme of our creative. We do not want to move away from the loneliness aspect of your brand communications, because we believe that is a competitive advantage. It is one of the things that has differentiated you from the rest of the competitors, especially the alliance with John Lewis. So we want, and we agree that loneliness is a bit of a negative message. That's why we want to give it a positive spin. We want to say that help lift loneliness any way you can. No matter what your contribution, you can do something. And basically, well, the visual is not entirely representative of what we will pursue, but it basically shows how a young person, a younger demographic, can make a difference to an elderly person's life through technology. It is something that resonates with the demographic, and well, it doesn't take your time, it doesn't take effort to call someone, to engage with them on FaceTime, etc. So this is the creative strategy that we're going to pursue. And
And this is the print ad, like newspaper and magazine ad. And this is next is the out of home. This is the bus, and then the tube tunnel, and the billboards. So for PR, we recommend the PR stunt through interactive screened live video streaming and ad soliciting conversations. Why? It is to encourage sign-ups and positive word of mouth in media, and to encourage viral action and therefore mentions and share on social media, and to reinforce the issue of elderly loneliness, possibly result in discernible increase in volunteering rates, and to promote the goodwill of HUK to drive donors and volunteers to HUK. We recommend to do it in Waterloo Station.
so basically, it's a very interesting idea. With budgets that are a bit constrained, we believe that PR would play a big role in pushing ahead your objectives. So basically, we're gonna erect a sort of a screen in the middle of a busy Waterloo station. It's a PR stunt, and to passerbys, it may appear like it's just another HUK ad, but then this ad talks back. So it live streams an elderly person. So when you're passing by, the elderly person actually interrupts you and tries to talk to you and tries to get you to talk back to them. So again, we're using technology in an interesting way to engage with your target audience, and we believe the potential of this idea is viral. It will induce conversation. It will just and it is such a great brand fit, because you all are considered innovative. You all are very highly active on social media, especially the alliance with John Lewis. So this is one of our key ideas. This just represents YouTube and Facebook.
And this is a PR stunt featured in the media. And next is strategy 1, social media, which is lift loneliness. So volunteers who have subscribed to the flexible volunteering program will be encouraged to share their alternative volunteering practice testimonials online, thereby popularizing the ease of flexible volunteer practices as to increase the awareness on loneliness. And yeah, and through Facebook and Twitter. And this is an example of how it will look like, the lift loneliness on Twitter, and this is on Facebook. And second strategy is through online banner ads to drive sign up for voluntary service. This is like the bigger picture, and this is how it will look on a website. And this direct marketing, so we will have email campaigns. Why it is to further penetrate the employee volunteer base to solicit donations with SME partnership, an example of how the email will look like. And the SEO is to increase the search visibility, the website traffic, to build the brand awareness and generate new leads and customers to volunteers and donors. So now I'll pass on to Marco for the whole media plan.
So going to the media plan, we've established 2 different strategies. So the first one will be focused on the exposure of Age UK during December, reason during the Christmas time. Then the second method will be as a pulse, so it means that every 2 weeks Age UK will expose the different ads. So for the press ads, we have the grocer, the metro. So we decided the grocer, as Shay said, because it's a trade magazine and this is the target we want to attract. Obviously, the social media with the online campaign on Facebook and on Twitter will run for the whole campaign from November to April. And so direct marketing, similar to the press ads with the burst method in December and every 2 weeks for the rest of the campaign. So the interactive billboards will help to create the PR stunt. So it will start at the beginning of November until the end of December, and the evaluation and measurement will be running through the whole campaign plus May. So now the expenditure. So we mainly focused the budget on the OOH and direct marketing because we think like it's the best way to attract our target market. So we have a total of £1,080,000. For the measurement, the OOH measurement, we thought that primary search and pedestrian and vehicular traffic will help us to define an evaluation about how effective was this OOH campaign. Then the readership will help us about the print ads. Google Analytics have a straightforward technique to understand if we increase our traffic on the website. And for PR, all of the media that will cover our stunt, our event. So we defined the ROI from beta. So we took 2% of our whole population from the target market. So we also assume that people will donate at least once a month, which we have an average of 6. And for the amount, we've chosen £5 because it's this charity is not very attractive by our target market, and the median monthly giving from research is £5. So we have a beta of 2.5, which gave us the ROI of 2.52 out of the budget, which is 1 million. So now we we hope that you will trust Ink for for writing a brighter future for all the people.
All right. We've got 47 seconds left, guys. Nailed it.
Good timing. Good timing.
Chris, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Ink. So, overall, I thought it was really good. A few words about. I was a little bit confused at one point. I thought what we were going to have was employee campaigns. I thought we were going to have 2 employee campaigns because you seem to be segmenting into two streams of consumer by employment type. But actually, you were and you weren't. You were also going to be. You also ended up presenting. Sort of PR activity and what have you. So I was a little bit confused about that. None of these things are big, but I think that sort of given more time and another 24 hours to review, and what all of you guys are doing is producing this under enormous pressure. So we've got to hand it to you. You're doing all 3 so far have done a remarkable job. What I would say is just a couple of things, and mainly sort of superficial. There was a lot of ink on some of your slides for a group called Ink, and you seem to sometimes it almost showed that some slides have been done by some people, some by others. There were some slides that had lots of words on and some that didn't have that many, and you were kind of flipping between them. So that was a little bit, again, given more time, you could have sort of netted those down. Nadia, you came over as being, sort of this uber professional, confident speaker. The only thing was that when you weren't speaking, you were pacing like a caged tiger.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, not a problem. But it's one of those things. Be aware that that's what you do. This whole thing about sort of supporting each other when you're not presenting. When you're not presenting, it's almost as important as when you are presenting. And Shay, couple of things that you sort of. Sometimes you were kind of throwing things away a little bit. You'd kind of go, and this is a picture of this, and this is a picture of that. And, if you bothered to produce those slides, sell them. Don't just flick them up, show them, and flick them out again. Sell them. Sell it to me.
Don't we look at it again?
Have something to say. Absolutely. Nice, clever idea in Waterloo. I think that would really cause a stir. The fact that this thing had a real live person at the other end and would talk back to people, and I thought that was really, really clever. And you could have kind of almost built up to that with some suspense and then big reveal, because I think that was your big product in this presentation, but it was an inspiring idea. But I will hand over to John to say some more.
I like the presentation very much, actually, and given Triss's points, which I agree with, there were some, but overall, I thought I like the way you built up the story from the very beginning. The analysis of the forces shaping this industry and the demographic moves, which are going to make things quite different. I think is very good. You did a good competitor analysis, which led on to identifying the target groups, which is excellent. And then you follow with a positioning statement. So it all flowed extremely well. I did you know, and then you justified focusing in on these employment sectors like retail and wholesale. You gave a reason for that they actually employ an awful lot of people in their target group, and the other sector as well. So that all stood up very, very well. The trouble was the media plan later didn't reflect those, you know, I think that's the point you were making, isn't it? It was a general media plan. There wasn't, except for the grocer, which was, you know, clearly pointed it towards the retail and wholesale trades. There was nothing in the media selection which said this is the media that people in health, in education, and social work are likely to be reading, and this is the media that reads. So I think that was a sort of perhaps something you could fine-tune. Great PR stunt. In fact, rather close to one of the best PR stunts of 2016 awards that the PR industry has just given. It was something quite similar to that for the Heart Foundation, which was a kiosk, which was step inside if you want to feel what a heart attack is like. But it attracted lots of people, and of course when they went inside, it wasn't that, it was just simply someone talking to them from the hospital and explaining to them what circumstances could arise. So those types of things are actually facially that you recommended that can actually work very well for you, because they can actually, you know, that they will attract, they'll come alive when the customer profile passes them. So, you know, you didn't mention that, but they're particularly good for that. So they would have, you know, they would, when someone in the age group that you were targeting passes, they will, you know, they'll spring into action, as it were. But also, they're mobile, so there's no reason why it could just have been done in Waterloo Station. It could be, you could be shifting it around to all sorts of different places. It's a highly exploitable PR. So overall, I enjoyed the presentations. Well done.
Yeah, that was really easy to follow, really clear structure, so that was really good. My comments are mainly what Chris and John have already said, so quite a lot of text on some slides. Let others speak, don't pace around. I can see you from the corner of my eye, even though I'm not looking. What else? Yeah, and some slides were quite quick. It takes a while to kind of see what's in front of you, so yeah, could have spent more time on that. I also like the PR stuff, really good. Owned media could have probably been used. It's quite a small budget, so I'm thinking, is there too much going on? Sometimes it's best to just focus on one thing or a few things rather than trying to do everything with a small budget. But other than that, really good. Good job.
Okay, I'm agreeing with all of that from everybody. I think, some of these slides look like essays. If you look at slide 11, I think this is a good example of what the guys have been talking about. I've got the slides here, so it's easy for me to have a look at. So if you just go put that back on, slide 11, that's a good example of a slide that's gone far too much on. 11. You make that big. That's frightening in a person. Just make it big and frighten us, really properly frighten us. That's far too big. There's far too much in there, and I think you look that you've got a bullet point there, you've got an indented arrow, an indented thing there. Some of these, Chris talked about consistency. A lot of them were in different typefaces. It's just overwhelming, that, and I think it was overwhelming for you when you were talking through. You can't possibly get through all of that. And the sad thing was, it was really good stuff. I think this idea of, you really drilled down in the target market, and you said we really need to know who these people are, what they do and why they do it and why they don't do it. But I just think you could have summarised a lot better. You tried to just give far too much, and by giving too much, you lose the essence of it. So we can't focus on the really big issues that you had. again, you know, you took more than 5 minutes. That slide, I think the next one was positioning. Positioning was in the 6th minute, so you got 5 minutes where you're going over this. And what you said was really, really good, but the summaries were enough, and the summaries would have taken 2 or 3 minutes. So, you know, you really need to think about condensing down and just pulling out the important things all the way through. But I think you missed some things. You know, one of the things in I think the previous slide, it said they don't have any time, and they give to children and the young people. And that to me was like, wow, you know, you really get to the idea that this isn't a sexy industry, nobody really wants to be involved in it because there's much more interesting things. But you never went back to that. You did your competitor analysis, but you just looked at other old people's charities. Why not look at why people are giving to other charities? You know, I think that's a really important part of this brief. Look at what makes those others, and why, you know, cancer's not sexy in any way, but Macmillan are doing a great job with that. So, you know, really having a look at what competitors are doing, why, in those other markets, how do they win in a difficult market? You know, there's a lot to learn from competitors, just not just because they compete with you, but because they're doing the same job in a different way and winning in some of these cases. So it's really good to have a good look at those. So competitive analysis has a twofold meaning, which I think would have been good there. But some of your insights were great, you know, really insightful, as insights usually are. My big issue is your objectives. All of this was talking about donations and volunteering, and yet everything seemed to come back to volunteering. So when we look at your advertising, here, you can go back to that one. To raise awareness, okay, none of that is action for giving money. To encourage people to take part in volunteering activities. And again, you know, you're losing, this is vertical, we haven't got it in tipped over, but your synergy is not there because there's nothing there about donating. To me, it's not really clear in your marketing objectives. And yet when you came down to your budget, it was all about these people are going to donate. But when you look at an advert, so if you go back to any one of those adverts, any one of the boss shows it probably best. That way, it doesn't show it, you can't see it. But it says, you know, this is how you donate, this is how you volunteer.
Wait, sorry.
So I'm not sure which one. If you just go back.
Do you want the banner?
Yeah, maybe 17 shows it best. It's not very clear. I'm just trying to get flexible flexible volunteering opportunities. There's nothing here about donating. So what I'm saying is that whole donation thing, which you started off as being part of it, just slips away, and everything is about volunteering.
The idea behind that was it's very difficult for people to get to donate for a cause that they don't engage with. We wanted them to engage first and then zero in on
okay,
the
but then you
donations.
need to say that we're hoping to get donations in the next however many years. But when you look at your ROI, which Marco presented, your donations are sitting there as you return. Well, you can't say they're going to come later and calculate them in your ROI as if they've come in. You know, you can't count your chickens till they've hatched. So I just think, again, it's that idea. You've got to go through this idea. This is what you've got to do in your IMCs. Here are my objectives. Am I delivering all the way through? Check, 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 check. And if it's not there, either take it out in the beginning and say, that's not something I'm even going to attempt to achieve, or else make sure it delivers and backs up. Because if there's inconsistencies there, it's going to drag your IMC down to the bottom. Okay, so I'm saying there are inconsistencies here. You've got some great stuff, but it is a little bit, for me, inconsistent all the way through. At the end, you said, Marco, you'll calculate it on people donating once a month. Well, there's no calls to action. There's nothing in there. That's just hoping. Okay, so an IMC isn't about hoping, it's about setting it up to make it deliverable. So I think that to me is the sort of underlying weakness in that. Is that fair comment? Can you see that? Yeah, you know, it was in all of the ads, it was in everything. Donations just fell away, and I think it was because it's a bit hard. Well, that doesn't mean to say we don't try, if that's what the objective is, and you have to be seen to be trying. But some lovely stuff, some great, nice coordinated. Yes, I think you need to watch the video. It'll be really interesting to see, how you perform as a group, where you would fast, where you would slow. There'll be a lot of insights there, but some really good stuff. And yeah, I like the idea of that thing in Waterloo Station, and as John says, get it moving around, make it your thing, and that's really good. All right, well done, guys.